I'm preparing a Bentside blank for the next set of instruments that I'm making, which are based on the Johannes Rücker's instrument in Colmar, France. This is the Bentside blank, and what I'm going to do today is one last final preparation before we soak it overnight for bending, and that is I'm going to plane the top surface. Right now this surface still has the machining marks from the thickness planer, and before I bend it I want to make sure it's absolutely smooth. So I'm just going to put a finishing smoothing on it using this plane right here. It's hard work. Now that I've planed this Bentside so it's nice and smooth, the next thing I need to do is soak it overnight. So I'm going to first soak these 2 towels and then thoroughly wet this down and leave it overnight on this bench right here. So we soak the Bentside overnight, and now we're going to bend it on the bending iron. This is a custom-made bending iron. It's like a hot griddle. I'm first going to test to see if it's heated up. It is. And over here is the Bentside. Now, for today, I've just pre-warmed it a little bit over the heater so that when we start out, it's already got a little bit of heat into it. See, it's still wet. Put a little more water on it before I start to bend it. And we're going to bend it to this form right here. So the center is right about there. I'm going to draw a line on it, right there. That's where I'm going to start the bend. As the board takes on more heat, you feel it relaxing a little bit. It starts to bend.
Now, what kind of wood are you using, Kevin?
The case is made of poplar, and different woods, some bend easier than others. Poplar bends pretty easily. Sometimes for this style of instrument, makers will use basswood, which bends really nice.
How long does this process take?
Oh, it takes about 20 minutes to bend a Bentside, I figure, to get it just right. I'm putting about 30-40 pounds of pressure on this end.
So how do you know where to bend it?
Well, it's kind of it's a bit of a guess. I have a pencil line drawn on here where the tightest part of the curve is, and then I'm sort of estimating and bending a little bit on either side of that. When I get enough of a bend in the board, then I'll set it on the drawing and see what kind of shape I'm giving, and then adjust it from that. You can see it's starting to bend, but I got a lot more to go. But first I'll just see how I'm doing. Water on it.
Why the addition of more water?
Well, it gets dried out. It's getting dried out from the heat. And it takes heat and moisture to bend it.
How does that help, Kevin?
Well, it just makes it a little tighter bend.
How long does an iron have to preheat before you're able to use it?
Oh, this one, I heat it up for about 15 minutes maybe.
Can you control the temperature on it?
Yeah, it has adjustable rheostats on it. And I have to be careful. Sometimes if I set it too high, it'll just scorch the Bentside like crazy.
Is that a problem, or can that be fixed?
Well,
It's going to be painted over, though, right?
it is. And the truth is, the old Flemish Bentsides, the few that they've seen without paint on, have pretty scorched Bentsides. So I suppose a really scorched Bentside would be historical, but let's see. There yet. Ah, look at that. All right.
About right?
That's about right. That's about it. So once I get it bent, it's going to sit like this free form and cure for a few days. I should try to bend it a little bit further than I actually need because there's a little spring back. And then the last thing I do, I draw a line on Mylar. So that when I come back, I can see how much it's changed shape, if it's changed shape. And then I'm also going to clamp it with some cauls. Because we've put so much moisture into this wood, it'll make it want to cup and warp and do all kinds of strange things as it cures. And by putting these cauls on, that will encourage it to cure. It's a nice flat board. You can see how moisture has caused the board to take on a shape like that. As it dries out, it'll want to dry, well, by putting this on and flattening it out. That'll encourage it to dry flat. And then I'm going to put a few more cauls in the center for the same purpose.
So that's it?
That's it. All done.